Anthrax is recognized as a significant threat to U.S. national security. The bacteria, Bacillus Anthracis, is found worldwide, including countries where terrorists are known to operate. Scientists and engineers at Sandia National Laboratories came together to develop a safe and secure portable diagnostic device for the detection of this bacteria in low-resource environments.
I work for International Biological Threat Reduction, and our responsibility is to engage laboratories overseas to try to minimize or reduce the biological threat posed by specific pathogens. One of which was, in low-resource environments, the laboratories tend to rely heavily on isolation and culture of pathogens. And in doing this, you create a large repository of pathogens that are vulnerable to accidental release and potentially intentional release. So we decided that we would try to brainstorm and come up with an application or a tool that could be deployable to support our mission of enhancing safety and security globally.
There are several Bacillus Anthracis sensors out there, but this one has some really special design restrictions and parameters that really actually made developing the device very challenging. Some of those parameters include it has to be operable by someone with a third-grade education, could take no power to operate it, no instrumentation to read it, had to be able to survive high temperatures, store well without refrigeration, and also at the end it needed to basically self-destruct, to self-sterilize itself. And all those parameters were extremely challenging to develop in a small device that also had to be very inexpensive.
The critical aspect of this device that hasn't been done before is that it's integrating everything. So our test is the frontline field test, everything in one device. Somebody can walk up, pull one of these out of the bag, take their swab, do the tests, and know whether they need to raise an alarm.
A swab introduces the sample to the detection chamber, which is then sealed. The growth medium is specifically tailored for Bacillus anthracis. After a specified amount of time, a magnet is used to release the valve so the microcultured material can then flow onto a lateral flow assay strip, similar to strips used in pregnancy tests, but this one only reads Bacillus anthracis. The selective growth medium and the lateral flow assay selectivity allows for biodetection in the field that rivals laboratory analysis.
Basically, integrating that culture step and the immunoassay step cuts a lot of the potential for mistakes, a lot of the potential for risk to the operators, a lot of the potential for escape of the organism into the bad guy's hands. That it takes all that out of the equation, puts it in one card, and at the end of the day you've got your answer and you've got nothing left.
This device also can detect a very, very minute quantity of the Bacillus anthracis spores. We've been able to detect just 100 spores, and similar assays need 1 million or 10 million spores to be able to detect.
What has come out from these research challenges was a new valve design in which we were able to create these channelless devices. And so we're basically moving from one storage chamber to another using magnetically operated valves that are very simple to operate. You'd simply bring another magnet in close proximity to it to create a pathway from one chamber to another. That way we can store the reagents and keep them separate, and only when the user wants to sterilize the device, he or she will then open the valve and expose it to the sterilization agent or expose it to the culture strip.
Although this device has been designed to solve the problem of Bacillus anthracis in low-resource areas, the potential for other testing is broad.
Now, there are a lot of bacterial pathogens that affect our lives, our food supply, our security as a nation, and so this device, with very few changes, for example, just changing the type of growth media, changing the particular immunoassay strip that's in it, but keeping everything else essentially as we've developed it, can test for Burkholderia, Salmonella, things that threaten the water supply, things that threaten the food supply, things that Department of Defense or others have identified as threats in the field that they're concerned about.
We can look at pathogens of medical interest like strep or staph or gonorrhea, all these bacteria that are important to monitor in hospitals or in clinics or at home. I think it'd be wonderful if one could go to Walgreens and for $15 off the shelf get an at-home strep throat test. And so we're actually investigating these options right now with Tequila Technologies, who's licensed this technology and is already starting to work on a medium scale production. And they have some ties with hospital folks and are investigating these other at-home applications for this device.